All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive with us. And today's going to be a good one because I think it's something that affects pretty much everyone who sells a house,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
right? So we're talking BINSR repairs. You get that inspection report back, and the buyer wants you to fix all kinds of stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get all this done before we close?
Absolutely. And it's like you said, it happens to almost everybody, right? I mean, how often do you see a perfectly clean inspection report?
Yeah, it's super rare. I feel like almost every single deal has at least a couple of things.
Right, exactly. And that's why I think this deep dive is going to be so valuable for our listeners because we've got some really interesting information here about a company called Elements by Design, and they seem to have a pretty unique solution for handling these BINSR repairs.
Yeah, so they basically present themselves as a one-stop shop for all those repairs. Instead of use the seller having to, call up a plumber and then call up an electrician and find a roofer and all this stuff.
Yeah, right, which can be a nightmare, especially if you're, if you've already moved out of the house or you're, busy with work or whatever it is. It's just one more thing to add to your plate.
Totally. And the source material here really emphasizes their speed. They're all about fast turnaround time, which I guess makes sense when you think about it.
Oh, absolutely, because any delays on those repairs can push back the closing date, and nobody wants that.
Right, exactly. And then everyone's stressed out. The buyer's stressed, the seller's stressed, the agents are stressed.
It's just a domino effect.
Totally. So having a company that can come in and get everything done quickly and efficiently, I mean, that seems like it would be super valuable.
Huge value, yeah.
And they're not just fast, they're also upfront about the cost.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about transparent quotes and competitive pricing.
Which is so important because the last thing you want is, surprises when it comes to these repair costs. You need to be able to budget for them properly.
For sure. And it sounds like Elements by Design gets that, they give you detailed estimates up front so you know exactly what you're dealing with.
That's great. And it also helps with communication. Everyone's on the same page, the seller, the buyer, the agents. Everyone knows what's going on and what to expect.
Absolutely. And speaking of knowing what to expect, they also really emphasize their certified quality, which basically means they stand behind their work. So it's not just about getting it done quickly, it's about getting it done right.
Yeah, that's peace of mind for everyone involved, right? For the buyer, it means the repairs are done properly and they shouldn't have to worry about any issues popping up later on. And for the seller, it's kind of a layer of protection as well.
Exactly. So if anything does come up after closing, they've got Elements by Design to back them up.
Right. And, it makes me think about how this kind of approach could really shift the whole dynamic of the BINSR process, instead of it being this dreaded thing that everyone's kind of bracing themselves for.
It's like, oh no, here comes the inspection report.
Right, exactly.
It becomes more of a, well, okay, we know there might be some repairs needed, but we've got a system in place. We've got a company we trust who can handle it.
Right. And it takes a lot of the stress and uncertainty out of the equation.
Absolutely. And I'm seeing more and more companies popping up that offer this kind of specialized service. So it's definitely a trend to watch.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And before we move on, I do want to mention that Elements by Design has a special offer for all of our group realty clients.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So they're offering priority scheduling and exclusive discounts, which is amazing.
That's a great perk. And, it shows that they're really thinking about the needs of real estate agents and their clients.
Absolutely. So to kind of wrap things up, we've talked a lot about Elements by Design and their approach to BINSR repairs, but I think the bigger question is, what does this all mean for you as a seller? Right at the end of the day, it's about finding the best strategy for your situation. If you're someone who's comfortable managing contractors and you've got the time to do it, then maybe the DIY approach makes sense for you.
Right. Or maybe you've got, a family member who's a handyman and they can help out.
Exactly. But if you're looking for that kind of hands-off approach where you can just hand the reins over to someone else and trust that they'll get it done, then a company like Elements by Design could be a real game changer.
Yeah. And it's not just about the convenience. It's about the peace of mind, too.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that those repairs are being handled by professionals who are, licensed and insured and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And I think it's something to consider even before you list your house. Knowing that these types of services exist might even influence how you approach those pre-listing preparations.
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, like maybe you're less worried about fixing every little thing yourself because there's a company out there who can take care of it if needed.
Right. So it's almost like an extra layer of strategy.
Exactly.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the key takeaway here is that There are options out there when it comes to BINSR repairs. You don't have to feel overwhelmed or stressed out. There are companies like Elements by Design who can help simplify the process and really take that burden off your shoulders.
Absolutely. And ultimately, it's about making informed decisions, right? So do your research, explore your options, and choose the path that best fits your needs and your goals.
And I think that's a great note to end on. So we'd love to hear from you, our listeners.
Yeah.
Have you ever used a service like Elements by Design for BINSR repairs, or maybe you've got some other tips and tricks for handling those repairs? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, we're always looking for new insights and perspectives.
Absolutely.
Right.
So until next time, happy selling, everyone.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.